I have been selling this book, Zanazli and Wan Chun Hong's Guide to Indie Filmmaking, which is published by MPH. For a while now. It's a really good book if you want to be a filmmaker, whether it's for YouTube, social media, TV, film, cinema, whatever. This is the book to get. I'm going to make it more accessible and more affordable to all of you because I believe that everybody needs to become a filmmaker. The more filmmakers we have in the world, I think this world will be a better place to live in. Now it's available as an electronic book download on my website. I'm going to link it here. It's really cheap, it's really affordable. It's only 5 ringgit if you want to get the ebook version. Okay, 5 ringgit. It doesn't really cost much, right? It's just a little bit of something for me. I mean, it did take a lot of work to write. Each chapter of this book talks about one part of the filmmaking process. And for each chapter as well, I interview a local filmmaker. It's only 5 ringgit. It's only 5 ringgit. You're watching and listening to the Fat Financial Club, and I'm assuming Azan Azli.
And I'm Shirley Bustawan.
And as usual, we are watching a local film and we're reviewing it. Yeah, and this week we are watching
Juang, which
Juang.
is by many directors.
Oh, is it?
Yes, 4 I think. Okay, bye. So we watched
Juang. At the cinemas.
At the cinemas. But before that, what did we do?
What did we do before that?
We went to...
Oh yeah, so we went to the opening ceremony of the Sea Shots Film Festival.
Which is happening right now.
Yeah, it's happening right now from the 21st to the 25th of October. I hosted...
September.
Sorry, September.
September.
Yeah, so you're watching this, it's happening. So you can all go to MMU Cyberjaya.
The Faculty of Cinematic Arts
And Creative Media.
and Creative Media, yeah.
Yep. I hosted the opening ceremony. Yes. It's a good festival.
Yeah, it features a lot
Is
of
it
Southeast Asian films.
Short films.
Short films.
Yeah.
It seems to be very packed this year. It's like jam-packed with like a lot of activities and screenings, and there's also like a slight VR element to it. So it's definitely worth checking out over the weekend lah. You know?
Right.
Yeah, so go. Okay? Okay, but anyway, so after that we went to see Juang.
So we were invited to the premiere 2 months ago.
Yeah.
But the message didn't come into my inbox, or I didn't notice it or whatever. But I have apologized to the producers who invited us.
Yes. So we're very sorry to have missed it.
But we watched it anyway.
But we
paid for
anyway.
we paid for our tickets.
Yes.
And we watched it.
Yes.
So what's the film about? It's directed by several directors.
It's directed by 5 directors. They're all men.
Yeah, and very established directors. See, there's Osman Ali, who did the what Kelangit.
Terbaik dari langit.
You know.
Is it Terbaik dari langit?
Yeah, I mean it's Osman Ali.
Okay.
He did the what that Chowkit film so last time. Anyway, there's Aziz M. Osman who's like XXray, you know.
Okay.
There's Kavi Bhatia who does advertisements.
He did Pulang, right? Kavi Bhatia did Pulang.
Yeah, like I said, advertisements. Yusri, KRU, Awas. You know,
and then it's all headed by Matt Lai. So Matt Lai is the head director. We don't know Matt Lai. Yeah. But anyway, so it's headed by Matt Lai.
I know Matt Dooley.
So there's
classmate.
5 directors. Quite a star-studded cast, would you say?
Yeah.
So they got Zizan playing a policeman.
He always plays a policeman.
They got Zul Arifin No, but this time he's just like a pakai uniform policeman.
Yeah, usually
Not
he's-
like a bad boy policeman.
Usually he's Martin Lawrence, you know.
Yeah.
But this time he's not Martin
He's
Lawrence.
yeah, he's like mall cop like that, but not really. Okay, you got Zul Arifin playing a doctor, also a father. You got Jack Lim playing a Chinese guy stuck in Wuhan.
That's Jack Lim.
Then Jana Nik is Zul Arifin's nurse.
Yeah, Jana Nik is cute. But I didn't recognize her in this film. Maybe because she's constantly behind a mask.
But we don't like Jana Nik anymore, right? Because
she did something.
yeah, but I also forgot what she did. So
Yeah,
I guess we can
like her again. She's still very cute though.
There's Sangeeta Krishnasamy.
Oh, we like her.
Yeah,
I think she's a great
she's
actor.
In most of the
watch,
films that we watch.
we watch a lot of those Tamil films where she acts in, and she's
She's in most of
outstanding in those films. Yeah.
She's also the token Indian in most of the other mainstream films.
Despite that, she's a great actor. I think.
She is. I'm
Yeah.
not saying she's not. I'm just
Yeah.
saying that other than the Tamil films, she's also the token brown woman in most of the films of today. There's Vanida Imran, Quinoa. Quinoa shouts a lot in this. And then some other guest stars lah, you know, including including the late Andi Bano.
Yep.
So
But
the
she
film,
has a very minor role lah.
yeah,
So,
it's a guest star. It's a guest star.
You
Yeah.
close your eyes so you can miss her.
So yeah, memang if you close your eyes you'll miss her anyway. So the film is about the perjuangan during the pandemic. So if you've seen our review of Frontliner or the film Frontliner, this is basically Frontliner but much better.
Which isn't saying much because Frontliner was horrible.
Yeah, but I think this was executed. Yeah, so basically it's about the experience of the pandemic in 2020 through the eyes of different frontliners lah. So you've got the healthcare workers, which is Zul Arifin and Jana Nik, who are stationed at a quarantine center. And then you've got Zizan, who is a police officer manning a roadblock. You've got
The one with Zizan, he has a partner, right? Who's that guy?
no idea.
Must be one of those people in the
one of
cast,
these-
right?
Is it Izu Islam?
I don't
think
know.
it's Izu Islam.
I only know the name Izu Islam. I don't know how
I think
he looks
it is,
like.
It might be Izu
Is it a
Islam.
he or she?
It's Izu Islam.
or
I think
they?
it's Izu Islam. I'm
Okay.
gonna bet that it's Izu Islam. Anyway,
Okay.
so yeah, so Zizan has a partner lah, which we're guessing now is Izu Islam.
Wait, so bad. Wait,
So their
okay.
names are
You continue. I check for
Hafiq-
Izu Islam.
Hafiq and Zaki. Zaki is like latte or something. So okay, so you've got these two police fleurs who are
Yeah, it is Izu
yeah,
Islam.
who are manning the roadblocks.
There.
Correct lah. And then you've got, he's quite cute actually.
It's okay.
And then you've got Sangeeta Krishnasamy, who is food
Food delivery
food delivery
person
driver.
who's also a mother to a sick child
Who
and a
has
jobless
asthma.
husband.
And a jobless husband. Her
Yeah.
husband got laid off during the pandemic lah.
Pandemic, yeah.
And then 1, 2, 3. Who are we missing? I feel like we're missing somebody else. Oh, and then there's Vanida Imran, who's a doctor, but she is the doctor who is assigned on the plane that was sent to Wuhan
to bring back the Malaysians. The captain is Roshano.
The captain is Roshano, but you would never know because he's covered in full PPE.
And again, you close your eyes, so you blink one time, you can miss him. So it's a very cameo thing, lah.
It's a lot of
Yeah.
big cameos. Like. Even Jalaluddin Hassan was a cameo, standing in front of the station saying, okay, now we have to enforce PKP. So, yeah, so it's basically the story, these 4 stories intersecting together in the time of the pandemic lah.
Yep, and I'm guessing all these stories is directed by, each story is directed by a different director.
And then overseen by Matt Lim, I guess, yeah.
Okay, so what do you think about the film?
Why don't you go first? I feel like you have less feelings about this film than I do.
Really? Number one, I'll start with a good thing.
Ayo.
I think that it interweaves the stories very well. It's edited very well. All the different stories. They're all like almost standalone, but the way they're standalone actually, the stories. But the way it's edited seems very seamless. I like the way it was edited together. You didn't feel like it was a montage of different stories, right? I like how they cut and transition from one story to another, following the scenes that are quite thematic. So you feel that it flows. So that was good. And I'm guessing because Matt Lai is helming it, he put that together lah.
A lot of control.
So that was very nice for me to see. Some of the acting was quite good. I like Zul Arifin's acting. I've always liked Zul Arifin's acting, but probably in this one, maybe because he feels that he's wearing a mask, he moves his face a lot.
Maybe you like him better because he's wearing a mask.
No. Zul Arifin, I like Zul Arifin. I've always thought he was good. It's the other guy that I find a little bit annoying, Remy Ishak, right? They're both like mangkor, tough, buff people, right? But Zul Arifin to me is a very good actor lah compared to Remy Ishak. And I think because he was wearing a mask the whole time because he's a doctor, right? He tried to use his face and eyes to act a lot. So he was moving his eyes a lot, like that, a lot. I'm like, wait, relax, yeah.
Exercise.
Yeah, but he delivers his line very well. He doesn't recite his lines. He actually acts his lines. And Zura Ifan has always been like that lah. Jana Nick, not knowing it was Jana Nick, I kind of thought she played the role well too. You know, without knowing that it was Jana Nick, so there was no biasness of liking her cuteness. You know. Who else did I think played the characters well? Sangeeta, of course. Sangeeta, not bad, right? Yeah, good acting here and there. Zizan.
I think the role a bit too serious lah for Zizan. That was my issue.
And a little bit too preachy too. So okay.
I don't know.
The first thing that came to my mind when I was watching this film was that, oh my god, it's too soon for this film to come because it was very annoying for me to watch the film. We just only made, in Malaysia, the Ministry of Health just announced that it's now optional to wear masks indoors. And as soon as the Ministry of Health made that announcement, you will see all these keyboard warriors on Facebook saying, oh yeah, it's optional, but I will decide to keep it on anyway. Great for you lah, you want to keep it on. You must announce on Facebook, on social media that you're going to keep it on. I think when you go out and people see you keeping it on, people already know you're keeping it on. No need to make an announcement, be all preachy and holier than thou. Yeah, shaming people who don't want to put on their mask. I'm not wearing my mask now that it's optional. You know why? Because my face is too beautiful to be hidden behind a mask, right? So I'm not putting it on unless I feel like I need to put it on, and that's my choice. Okay? Yeah. So we are at a stage where we're trying to get past it, right? We're trying to get past the pandemic. People have been living in fear for too long. It's just like when the government announced that we were no longer going to be in a pandemic kind of thing. We're going to transition. We're going to go into an endemic and all that. Lockdown stop, starting to open, no more restrictions and all that. There were a lot of people like, wait, what, man? Oh no, you cannot, wow. Enough, right? Sure, COVID is a serious thing, but enough already lah. Okay, all the experts have already evaluated it. People are okay now. We want to get past that fear and live and continue to live our lives. When I was watching this film, 90% of the film made me feel like, oh no, people are going to start getting paranoid again after watching this film. And then, the holier than thou people who will be shaming the other people who not taking it seriously, kononnya, by wanting to lead their lives. So that was the main feeling that I had lah.
I felt completely different. Yeah. I have to say. We watched Frontliner first, right? And this is not in any way trying to compare it to Frontliner, but both films have that at the center. The key people who kind of got us through the pandemic, and in trying to pay tribute to these people, I really liked how these directors chose, yeah, characters who are frontliners, but they didn't like slam it onto us all the time that they were frontliners. Instead, what they did was really humanize all of their experiences, you know, to show us that they were kind of going through the pandemic as well. I don't really feel like Frontliner did that, but Juang did. So Juang really did humanize all, and like you said, Sangeeta, she's a food delivery person, but she's also a mother. Her son is already sick. And then like even Zizan's got a fiance, and then him and Izu Islam have this whole conversation about, you know, their families are always asking them when you wanna leave this profession, boleh ke berjaya jadi polis, blah blah blah. And then when they go and they try to disperse people during the lockdown, they're getting yelled at, they're getting abused verbally and whatever. It was I thought it was a really good portrayal of humanizing the policeman lah. So when I was watching the roadblock scene, so towards the later part of the film when you already get permission letters, right? I remembered that during the lockdown, I had a permission letter to go out, and it was like my first time going out past 10 km with the letter, and I was really nervous. So I drove up to the roadblock, and then I went out my window, and I straight away stuck all the letters out. And then a policeman behind his mask was like, I tak tanya pun, tapi since you dah bagi, I baca je lah. And then I like just really laughed because there was, during the pandemic especially, everybody was going on about how policemen were unnecessarily issuing summons to people.
It was in the news, remember?
Yeah, and you know, it kind of really dehumanized the police force. But my experience with that particular policeman, and actually several roadblocks that we were in together also, was not necessarily like that. So
but I remember when we came back and we were at the NKVE, that there was this very rude woman policeman.
That lady. Okay lah, that one lah. So I guess she negates everybody else that was not rude to us. But okay, fine. So anyway, that's what I liked about the film. I really liked that they portrayed the frontliners as human beings. You know, with actual emotions, with actual flaws, with families, and it wasn't too overdone. Except for some moments when they show the interactions between the families, right? There's like zero chemistry. So it becomes very like Cinetron like, because they're all just like, I don't know, crying. And there's just so much crying and so much, oh, you know, I miss you so much. And I'm like, okay, yes. You know, we were all there in 2020. Most of us separated from our families. We get it. It was really, really quite terrible. But I don't think it needed that amount of crying lah. So I appreciated the fact that they brought us back to that 2020. Not because it's fear-inducing. I didn't personally feel like, oh, you know, now people are going to be paranoid or whatever. What it was really was just reminding me, anyway, about how far we've come. Like, you know, we made it lah. Like you said, you know, we're trying to move on. We're trying to get on with our lives. The virus has evolved. We have evolved. We've got vaccines now. We've got more knowledge about it now. It's moving into the endemic. So for me, it was not so much a reminder of, oh, you know, the virus is scary and we must always be vigilant, but just more of we've come really far. We've come really far from where we were in 2020. It was a really hard time, but we got through it together and we made it. There were a lot of times in the film where I was actually really, really moved, and I was very surprised that I would be so moved by these parts in the film. But I really feel it was because, in essence, all 4 stories kind of centered around family. And that was what really got me lah, especially like the Wuhan one where he's trying to get back to his family, right? He's really, really like trying to do it. That one really, really like it really made me feel things terribly. So, and then right at the end when they put out all the statistics and everything, that also kind of gave me a little bit of feeling, because again lah, we've made it really far, but not necessarily without sacrifice, you know. So much has happened and so many people have suffered for it and so many people have died, you know, especially in the beginning when the death rate was like ridiculous. It's just been a really long journey lah, and I'm kind of grateful to have been reminded lah of just how far we've come. So yeah.
Okay, so as I was saying just now, to continue where I left off, it really made me feel. No, I understand what you're saying, but I didn't feel like I was going to be paranoid from the film. I'm not paranoid at all, you know. In fact, I'm pretty relaxed. I feel everything's okay now. But I felt that film will raise the paranoia of those who are already paranoid and still paranoid. You know, people who are still going around spraying the chairs. Because now when I go out for makan, right, I still see people spraying the chairs, you know, spraying the table, wiping down the fork and spoon and all that. So there's so many people like that, and I'm afraid that this film might cause people to like become like that again lah, you know. And if we look at the different stories that were in the compilation, right, I think the best story for me was the Sangeeta story. The food delivery lady. Her story really embodied the human factor of it, you know, and everybody feeling for each other.
The spirit of the pandemic.
Yeah, her character and her story really showed that everybody. You remember the kita jaga kita thing, right? That embodied it, right? The worst for me was the police story, the roadblock story, because to me, sure, the police were going through it too, but that story felt so preachy because every now and again, Zizan and Izu Islam kept on making speeches about how, oh, kita sebagai polis, kita, you know, we sacrifice everything, you know, we do this, we do that. Kenapa orang tak nak sedar? Kenapa orang tak nak faham? You know, they kept on repeating and repeating. It was so preachy, almost like Makilau like that. Yeah, so I didn't like that. As much as there were small parts in the story where they talk to their mother lah, talk to their tunang lah, and all that, right? But the most part is just them trying to say that, look, we are the police, we're doing a great job, don't kutuk us. You know, so that was a little bit too preachy. We know that already, you know. And the scenes where, you know, at the roadblocks and then the police were being too strict and then people were saying that the police... Remember there was this one scene where the Zizan and Izu Islam went and saw the guy making cendol and saying, don't do this, go back, right? And then the people there are saying, look, shops can open, but we gerai cannot open. We also need to make a living. And then Zizan and all that was, no, tak boleh, undang-undang macam tu. It made me feel like there was no grey area and there was no consideration. That was no humanizing factor there. It was like, too bad lah, the law is like that, go back lah. To me, it felt like got no belas kasihan kind of thing. Which was what was the issue when the early part of the lockdown was like, remember? And that's why like news reports came out saying that people were getting ridiculous amounts of saman lah and all that. I think that reminded me of that. You know? But towards the end, when the film ended, I think the film ended on a very, very good note. Right? The filmmakers managed to make the film what it was all about, which was, I'm guessing their intention was to make it as a tribute lah, to the people who sacrificed and did a lot of work and all that, which I'm totally fine, you know, I'm totally fine with. I think deservedly so lah, you know. But only towards the end lah, they tied it together. Watching it, more than half of the first half of the film was a little bit annoying for me. But I don't know if it could also be the fact that there was this Chinese couple who was sitting next to us. They were constantly making comments about what was on screen, but they would repeat what was said on screen and then they would repeat it again and then they laugh. You know, like things that would happen or a line that was said, they would repeat that line and then laugh. Oh my god, it was so annoying.
Did you feel that? Did you hear them? Oh, that couple was so annoying. And then every scene that was shot anywhere, right? Oh, look, oh, ceras, ha. Oh, what? Don't know another scene. Bukit Bintang, ha. Oh my God! We know where these places are. Why are you repeating it to each other and then laughing about it like you know KL more than we know KL? Community lah, watching cinema with So that I don't know. It affected me a little bit lah because the film was already annoying at that part of in the beginning it started to annoy me. Plus with the audience, the couple that was sitting next to us was so annoying. It got me like that lah. But towards the second half, towards the end, it started to come back. You know, this is for me lah. It started to come back, and I felt okay, yeah, not too bad. But I think overall also, I feel like this film, it's a good film, way better than Frontliner. Frontliner was horrible. Kan, our review said that it was horrible, right? Yeah, even though it did have Bito Kushairi, you know, but it was still horrible. This one was much better. Juang was much better. We saw it only recently after a couple of weeks of it being out already. And I've been hearing people tell me about Juang and it has always been positive. People always keep on saying like, oh, we hear Juang is quite good. We want to go and see Juang. Oh, Juang's not bad. We heard that it's okay, you know. That is what I've been hearing. And yeah, I would say it's a good film. But I don't know, somehow personally I feel this film should be released later a bit. It's a film that came out a little bit too soon for me. You know, too soon as we're just becoming normal again. Because it brings back too much memories that would spike up the paranoia. For me lah, right? I don't think there's anything wrong with it. It's just I can't fault the filmmakers for it, but that's just how I feel. If it comes out a little bit later, say next year or something, then I think it would be a ideal tribute lah for the Frontliners.
I really like the fact that like you said, it's been several weeks already since Juang has been out, but the cinema was still quite full, and not only was it full, usually local films aren't really. They're very homogeneous in audience, but Juang was not. There were different types of Malaysians that were there, of all races, and there were even like families that were there to watch it also. So I think it's actually going to be quite a success because it's a film that can relate to everybody because everybody went through this together, and that's important lah. And yeah, I understand what you mean about how it should be released like later on a bit, like how you don't make like, you know, World War II film, you know, in 1946. You make it like in 2004 or whatever. But also, I don't know, I think the people that you are talking about that are gonna feel paranoid or whatever after this are already like that. Yeah. So like you said, right, they are still spraying their chairs, whatever. So
this will become fodder for them.
Yeah, but there's already so much fodder out there for them anyway. I don't think that this film is going to be the fuel to the fire lah. But it might be good for the frontliners who really went through it to feel seen and appreciated. So I guess different reactions for different Malaysians, really.
Would you tell people to watch it?
Oh, yes. I would tell people to watch it.
I think it's a film worth watching also.
I don't know if it's still running in the cinemas for a long time though. But Mid Valley seems to have a lot of showings of it, which was nice. But a lot of other places doesn't have it anymore. But it's definitely a film worth watching. So hopefully it gets picked up by a streaming platform soon. Like some films that don't deserve to be on streaming platforms but are on it anyway. Okay, so let us know what you think. Like this video, don't like this video. Subscribe to all our social media channels at Bidin or go to fatbidin.com to get everything.
You're watching and listening to the Fat Bidin Film Club. I'm assuming I'm Zan Azli.
And I'm Shawib Zan.